Have you ever looked at a duck and wondered, where did you come from? I mean, not just from the egg, but where did your ancestors come from? Let's take a trip back in time, say, 555 years ago, to the year 1469. What did a duck look like back then, and how has it changed to become the familiar bird we see today? First off, let's get one thing straight. The ducks we see in parks, the ones with the vibrant green heads and curly tail feathers, are mostly mallards. And guess what? Mallards have been around for a very, very long time. Fossils show that birds almost identical to modern mallards existed tens of thousands of years ago. So, a mallard in 1469 would look remarkably similar to a mallard today. The basic blueprint was already a huge success, but that doesn't mean nothing has changed. The biggest story in the last 555 years isn't about the wild duck, but about the domestic duck. This is where the real evolution, guided by human hands, takes place. Back in 1469, most of Europe was in the late Middle Ages, just before the Renaissance really kicked off. People kept ducks, absolutely, but they were much closer to their wild mallard ancestors. They were smaller, leaner, and probably a bit more skittish. Farmers raised them for eggs and meat, but it was more about managing semi-wild flocks than the specialized breeding we see today. They were hardy birds, great at foraging for their own food, but they wouldn't have been the massive meat producers or prolific egg layers we have now. So what happened? Humans started to play a role similar to natural selection, but with specific goals in mind. We call this artificial selection. We saw a duck that was slightly bigger and laid a few more eggs, and we thought, hey, let's breed that one. Over generations, this selective process led to dramatic changes. Let's fast forward a bit. As we move into the 16th and 17th centuries, agriculture becomes more organized. Different regions started developing their own unique duck breeds. For example, in Asia, particularly China, duck farming was an ancient and highly sophisticated practice. They had been domesticating ducks for thousands of years. Breeds like the Pekin duck, which is that classic large white duck you might picture on a farm, were being refined. They were selected for their rapid growth, large size, and fatty meat, becoming the ancestor of the Long Island duck famous in America. Meanwhile, in Europe, other breeds were taking shape. The Rouen duck from France was developed to look just like a mallard, but much, much bigger. It was a heavyweight, prized for its meat. In the Netherlands, they developed the Aylesbury duck, another large white duck bred for its delicate, pale meat, which was highly sought after in London markets. These weren't just random ducks. They were specialized breeds, each with a purpose. Then we have the Indian runner duck. These guys look totally different. They stand upright, almost like penguins, and they run instead of waddling. They originated in Southeast Asia and were selected not for their meat, but for their incredible egg-laying abilities. Some can lay over 300 eggs a year, far outproducing their wild ancestors. They became known as the leghorns of the duck family when they were introduced to Europe in the 19th century. So you see, while the wild mallard in the local pond hasn't changed much in 555 years, its domesticated cousins have gone through a whirlwind of evolution. We've taken the wild mallard blueprint and stretched it, enlarged it, and specialized it in countless ways. Think about the physical changes. A wild mallard drake weighs about 2.5 pounds. A commercial Pekin or a large Rouen can weigh over 9 or 10 pounds. That's a massive increase in size in a relatively short evolutionary timescale. Their body shape changed too. Meat birds became broader and deeper chested. Egg layers like the runner became leaner and more upright. Even their colors changed. While many breeds retain the mallard pattern, we've bred for pure white ducks like the Pekin, black ducks like the Cayuga, which has a stunning iridescent green-black sheen, and beautiful patterned ducks like the magpie. These color variations were sometimes just for looks, a matter of human fancy. We became artists with the duck genome as our canvas. What about behavior? Domestication has had a huge impact here. Wild ducks are naturally wary of humans and will fly away at the first sign of danger. Most domestic ducks have lost that strong flight instinct. They are also much more docile and tolerant of living in close quarters with humans and other ducks. That skittish bird from 1469 has become a calm, trusting farm animal. Their brain size has even decreased relative to their body size, a common trait in domesticated animals who no longer need the same level of alertness to survive in the wild. So, let's put it all together. A duck in 1469? If it was wild, it looked just like today's wild mallard. If it was a farm duck, it was a slightly tamer, slightly less efficient version of its wild cousin. Now, a duck today? We have a whole spectrum. On one end, you still have that perfectly adapted, unchanged wild mallard. On the other end, you have an incredible diversity of domestic breeds. You have the giant Pekin, bred for meat. You have the prolific khaki Campbell, another egg-laying champion from England. You have the quirky crested duck, with a puff of feathers on its head, bred purely for its ornamental appearance. You have bantam or miniature versions of ducks, bred to be smaller for hobbyists. The story of the duck over the last 555 years is a fantastic example of evolution in action. It shows the slow, steady pace of natural selection in the wild, and the incredibly fast, targeted changes driven by artificial selection. Humans saw potential in this humble waterfowl, and through careful breeding, created a whole new world of ducks, each tailored for a specific job, from filling our dinner plates to filling our ponds with beauty and color. So next time you're at a park or a farm, take a closer look at the ducks. Try to guess their story. Are you looking at a direct descendant of the wild birds that have graced our planet for millennia? Or are you looking at a living piece of human history, a creature shaped by centuries of partnership between our two species? It's a journey that started long before 1469 and continues to this day. The evolution of the duck is far from over. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through duck history interesting, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the world around us. See you next time.